All right, we're live.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Groh Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Commission. Call this meeting to order at 7:37, and we'll do a very quick Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll just go through it since it's a little hard to do it all in unison on Zoom. So, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, so we have Dan, we have Rebecca, we have Alan here today, as well as myself. So let folks know, I did briefly speak with Carl right before this, and he was hoping that he'd be here, but unfortunately he's running late with work. So he did give me some information as far as updates to give. So I'll give that for him in his place. But other than that, Christine might join us. She said that she was going to be able to join today, but maybe she's running late here. So we're going to go ahead. And it looks like we do have a member of the public here as well, potentially. So if you are here to speak, please let us know. We'll be going into public comment shortly over here. So with that, does everyone have the agenda before them? Is there any questions or comments, additions or deletions?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, hearing none, move forward and move on to the minutes. So Christine did send along the minutes. Sorry, what was that, Dan?
I said I'd make a motion to accept the minutes.
Motion by Dan. Is there a second?
I second.
I will second that.
Rebecca? Any discussion? Anything that potentially needs any correction or anything?
I didn't see anything.
Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 4-0. Thank you, Christine, for putting them together. And we'll move on to the agenda. So, come on here, pull this back up. So we should be, now would be time for public comment. So, I see we have Jameson Chayok, or I'm not sure how to pronounce, and I apologize if I'm butchering your last name, but welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I am just one of the Groh residents who loves the bike path and gets plenty of use out of it with my family members. My wife and I have lived on Groh for about 5 years now. She grew up on Groh, and now we're back living here with our 3 children.
Awesome. So do you have anything that you'd like to discuss that's not specifically on the agenda?
I don't see the agenda in front of me, so I'm just going to bring up 2 points. I wanted to say that, of course, like I said, we love the bike path. I guess my family concerns are that with Meridian being extra busy with the bridge closure, it's tough to cross at a couple of the, bike path crossings along Meridian especially. And then just overall maintenance, would love to see some repairs. So sorry that I don't have the agenda if you guys were going to bring that up.
No, not a problem. I appreciate the comments, and I think they're very timely because I have been receiving some other comments about path crossings, and I've been experiencing it myself with the greater traffic. So that is one thing that I did want to bring before the board, or I should say not the board. Apologize. The commission over here is to investigate the costs involved with doing some signalized crossings at certain locations.
Wonderful.
So it's something that we will look into. If there's consent from the commission over here, I'll move forward and working with township liaison and manager just to again see what the costs are involved with that and see if that's something that we can potentially fund.
Wonderful.
So since I put that on there, it's like I did have was discussing things with some engineers, and for Ferry specifically, while Ferry is somewhat outside of the crosswalk, it's very close. I mean, some side outside of the intersection, it is very close to the intersection. So what we're hoping to do, if there is buy-in on that would be to potentially do a full signal at that location, because I know that there's issues with vehicles trying to turn left, from Ferry, onto Meridian and vice versa. And being so close, my hope is that it'd be a lot easier and would make more sense from a public safety standpoint to do a full signal and potentially do all 4 crossings as pedestrian crossings as well. So that way you'd have multiple ways to get across both of the roads. I see people using that, not only our path, but also going over to Ferry Road. So is there anybody else that would like to talk about that with their experience or anything that they would
I would.
like to see?
Yesterday, Brian, I saw 2 young people trying to cross Ferry at Ferry and Meridian, and there was the late afternoon traffic was pretty heavy, and I saw them dart out, and it was pretty scary. Actually.
Sorry about that. I'll mute myself.
Are you on air?
Yes, I'm on the air.
That's all I had to add, Brian.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were pausing because of
No.
the chatter in my house over here.
No. It's fine. It's expected.
So you think, when we were out there, we noticed, and this is a problem I think is pervasive, is that one vehicle might stop for you, but others will not stop. And so people are trying to pass, go across the yellow line and go into oncoming traffic in order to pass. And additionally, there was, left turning vehicles, and it was a close call where it was almost an accident.
A few years ago, there was an accident there. Somebody went to pass on the left side, and somebody was turning onto Ferry, and they collided. It's like 6:30 in the morning.
So does it sound like there's general support for investigating this more?
I think so.
I definitely agree. My 12-year-old has been out on her own, and she's always commented how long it takes to wait at any of the crossings. You just wait and you wait and you wait and you wait, and some kids might not wait long enough.
Yeah. So that's great here that there's agreement over here. I just want to make it known that while we are, maybe everybody on Groh is interested in doing it, this is a Wayne County road, so we need to make sure that we get their approval on that. So it will be, there'll be a series of discussions that need to happen moving forward. So I can't promise it's going to happen, but we're going to do our best to see what we can fund and figure out if we can find some funding sources for that.
Sorry to interject again, Brian. Is there a possibility at looking at getting a crosswalk set up for the crossing at Horsemill and Meridian, as well as the crossing that's just north of Horsemill, along Meridian again?
So by crosswalk, are you saying a signal, like a pedestrian signal, or
yes, a pedestrian signal
markings? Okay.
I guess at this point, I'd love to see anything. The farther north you get, of course, the more traffic there is toward the Pay Bridge. So I think that is imperative, especially during these summer months when we have so many 12-year-olds, like Rebecca just brought up, that are biking, and even, adults are having to wait long periods of time, which isn't the end of the world, but of course, safety is the issue when you worry about people becoming impatient.
Yeah, we can examine all of the unsignalized crossings and see, what we can do. And, if we can do them all in one shot, great. I'm thinking that might be harder to do, but we can try for it. And if for some reason there's not funding from our end on this, but we do have buy-in from the county, hopefully we can apply for a grant that would help out with some of that moving forward. But again, it might take time. So I just want to let folks know, while we have support, it might still be depending on the time, how long it takes to get acceptance and then get funding. If we don't have funding available, it could be a year more before we actually get something in. But we'll try to see what we can do.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. looks like Christine did join us, so thank you, Christine. And hopefully you can take over doing the minutes. Appreciate that.
Yep, I'm good.
Awesome. So we'll move into updates. First, talk about asphalt maintenance. So for folks at home, as well as commissioners and everyone on the line, last September we did approve. By we, the township, approved a contract to do asphalt path maintenance along the bike paths. That first started off with this commission making a recommendation to the board, which was done in September, and I believe in October, the township board approved it, and we executed the contract. Unfortunately, with the quick winter, they were not able to do any of that work over the remaining part of 2019. So in 2020, we thought that they would begin it as soon as the asphalt shops opened up. So I'm happy to report, as of yesterday, we talked to our engineering consultant, CE Rains, Sahil Sebak, and he did mention, talking with the contractor, that they are planning to be on island next Monday, so the 22nd, to start work on that, as well as some of the other road work that they're doing on the island. As far as we understand, there is no premium that they're trying to charge us because of the free bridge being closed. We did warn them, well in advance that this was happening. So hopefully we'll begin some asphalt maintenance soon, and we'll be able to keep our paths in better shape. Any questions, comments, additions? Hearing none, we can move on to East River Connector Project. So backstory is that there is a service road that goes along the eastern side of the airport property that could serve to connect our Groh Road path to the International Wildlife Refuge Gibraltar Bay Unit. And so we've been investigating what the costs involved with that would be. Again, not having funding at the moment, we're looking at what's the cheapest way to be able to open that up. So our engineering consultant was able to give us updated numbers, but those numbers did include asphalt paving. And so they were considerably higher than what we're expecting right now, because again, we're looking to try and do this lighter, quicker, and cheaper. So we will be talking with Sahil and CE Rains and more probably within like the next week or so to look at value engineering to see how we can cut some of those costs. Just to let you know, we're looking at probably around $600,000 to $800,000 with all of the work that they were talking about, and that's just not possible for us to do right now. There's probably things that are more valuable that we could be spending our funds on, especially if this would be a project as we're conceiving it, that it might still be used for limited, airport service vehicles if it need be. So that might make it ineligible for federal funding. But so we're going to see what we can do to try and, one, move the fence, and two, do some limited improvements to try and create a primitive trail. That way we have that connectivity, and we'll be able to keep people off of East River Road, which is having some pavement issues itself, as well as there's higher speed vehicles along that roadway. Dan, do you have anything that you'd like to add to that?
No, I think you touched everything that we've been talking about.
Cool. Anyone else? Alan, Rebecca, Christine? Hearing none, move on to Bellevue Road project. I don't have anything specifically to update you on with that specifically, except for that we're continuing to look at that, and we would like to make more connections with the Recreation Commission. Again, for folks at home, we're looking at some sort of connection along Bellevue Road that would connect our Meridian road path to Water's Edge. And, hopefully from there, we would be able to create a sidewalk that would wrap up West River Road or cut through the two golf courses to connect with Grosio Parkway and connect with the Free Bridge. And then from there, we could work with Trenton about connecting to Jefferson Avenue. So I don't have anything more to report at the moment, but if anyone else has something to chime in on, please let me know. All right, hearing none, move on to the Ferry Trail and other open space updates. It looks like Dan stepped away. I'll wait a moment, see if he comes back. If not, I can give you some updates because Carl did fill me in on those. So, he did mention that he is working with the township engineer again to look at the Ferry Road 2.0, or they've been calling it the Tittle property, and they're looking to do with this as well as other projects, provide more of drainage considerations with the pathways, and that's what's kind of delaying it right now. I believe that there was more than 6 inches, might have been a foot of water like on the property earlier on this year. And so they're looking at culverts and other materials that would be able to try and channel the water to a better place. So that way it doesn't erode the wood chips and other improvements along that road. But once this does open up, we'll be able to go from Ferry Road through the woods and connect to Gage Road, which goes right into Knudsen and connects with Island and Stout. So it will be definitely an improvement for folks that live in that area, especially because that was like the quickest route for them to get to Macomb Street or anywhere else on the southern part of the island. I see, Dan, that you're back. Do you want to add any more about open spaces?
Yes, we're looking at also cleaning up the Meridian thing off of that goes into Manchester. There's some people have been dumping back there, and we've been working with the community, the neighbors over there off of Manchester, and I'll have more for you since we only had one meeting since the virus, so I'll have more for us next month. Mm-hmm. And I heard
they're looking at a connection along East River as well, so that way you'd be able to go from Meridian to East River through the property.
Yes. And I've got a proposal that's going to be presented at the beginning of the month, and I don't want to mention it right now, but we're going to have a program for residents hopefully in September.
Great. You're looking for
Brian, you're aware of what? Oh, he stepped away. I got a call from the township last month asking me to promote this, and because of the residents of calling the township hall because everybody's been home. So I'll have more for us next month if you would.
Sounds good. So that brings us to the end of our updates. We do not have any action items today. Is there anything else that any of the members of the commission would like to speak about, or is there anything that members of the public would like to talk about? Okay. Well, I know we did have one other person mention us, Molly Mech or Metch. Molly, did you want to speak for a second?
Hi, just a big proponent of our bike path. I'm sorry I joined late, but thank you for the work you're doing to keep us all safe and our grandkids and kids.
Well, thanks for joining us. We're happy to have you, regardless if you here at the beginning and need to leave early, or can't make the beginning, but want to come halfway through. We're always happy to have the public, as well as feel free to contact us at any time through email or Facebook. I know that we're getting some discussions going on with that as well. So thank you. And Katie, are you interested in saying anything at all? I see that you're on the line as well.
Actually, this is Sheila Boardman, but it's coming up as my sister's name because she sent me the link to join. Okay. But I don't have anything specifically to say. I was just curious when you mentioned the Meridian Manchester dumping.
Yes.
Could you be a little bit more specific about what's happening in that area?
There's some water tanks. There's an old vehicle, just some debris. One of the residents mentioned to us that there's some teenagers going back there and partying and leaving their trash behind. Just stuff like that. It's not like a public dump yard, but it's, we want to clean it up.
For sure. I was just curious because I'm the property on, I'm the property south on Manchester, like the first home south of the open space. And I know there's somebody that owns some land next to us as well. So I was just curious, I was hoping that we weren't leaving any trash out. But besides that, no, I don't really have any comments. I was really excited to hear people talking about crossings on Meridian. That was probably my biggest concern and reason for joining. But other than that, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great. Happy to have you. So with that, if there's nothing else to talk about, I'll just say from a chair's perspective that we did see that our governor gave the order that there will be some in-person school in the fall. So we might want to start thinking about walk to school day or bike to school day event, as well as other education for later on in the summer or in the fall. And with that as well, we have various commissioners over here. So if you have a passion project or something that you're interested in, I think Dan and I could use some help in regards to making sure that we've got people heading up each of the different initiatives that we want to have moving forward. And we're always welcome to, we're always interested in having the public be a part of this as well. We don't feel like we need, as commissioners, to be the only ones doing the work. So if there's folks that are interested in helping us out with some of this stuff, feel free to let us know. And I do want to mention, I want to thank Rebecca and Christine for all the work that they have done with walk to school day and bike to school day in the past. So hopeful that we can keep that going in the future. So with that, if there's no other questions, comments, or anything to discuss, I'd like to make a motion for adjournment.
I'll second it.
All right. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstain? Close this meeting out at 8 o'clock. Thank you, everyone. Walk, bike, drive safe. Have a great weekend.
You too, Brian.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.